Hi, this is Barbara, and welcome to the Recipe Box. We've got a lot of exciting things happening around here, so stay tuned. I want to get right to the show because I have a fabulous guest on here with me. A lot of us are familiar with vegetarianism, and we may know a little bit about being a vegan, but my guest is an expert on both of these areas, and she's going to give us some insights into cooking for your family when you want to provide them a vegan-style diet. A lot of us have decided to move away from meat, away from processed foods, introduce a lot more locally grown, fresh grains, fresh produce. We're reading the labels. We're staying away from certain types of fish. We're watching everything that we're doing now. And sometimes it's a little overwhelming, especially if you have children and you're not sure how to balance their diet when you start taking meat and those types of proteins out and trying to incorporate more fresh vegetables and fruits. So we have a few concerns, of course, and I'm so pleased to have someone on the show today that not only knows it, but she's written a book about it. Her cookbook is called Vegan Family Meals, Real Food for Everyone. And you know her. She's Chef Gentry. She's the author of the Real Food Daily cookbook. Her restaurant is Real Food Daily out there in California. Hello to all my California people out there. And you probably, if you haven't been to her restaurant, if you don't live locally, you've seen her on television. You've read her articles. She is the executive chef for Vegetarian Times. She's produced the half-hour show, Naturally Delicious. Her website has the videos also. You can see her videos on her website. A lot of great information there, easy recipes, a lot of wonderful information on how to prepare the food, just changing your whole mindset about a vegan diet. She's done excellent work with this cookbook, and I'm thrilled to have her on the show. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Chef Ann Gentry. Welcome to the Recipe Box Show, Ann.
Thank you, Barbara. What a nice introduction. You got everything in there. Thank you.
Well, I know that I want to ask you, how is it possible for you to do all the things that you do? You've got 2 locations for your restaurant, right?
Yes, I do, with the 3rd one coming on board. We've been invited by HMS Host to go in with a couple of other Los Angeles restaurants into LAX.
Wow.
And we are thrilled, and that'll happen at the end of the year. We'll be in the American Terminal, Terminal 4, which for LAX is the busiest domestic terminal, and this is a real coup, vegan food.
That is huge.
You know, in a international airport.
Yes. How wonderful. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Now,
and how do I do it all? Well,
yes.
You know, I ask myself that every night. I don't get enough sleep. I can tell you that because I didn't last night. You know, it's juggling it. You know, we're all living these busy, you know, fast-paced lives. It's just the world that we're in. But I will say that eating a very clean diet, I do believe, really gives me the fuel to go at the pace that I go, and also, you know, exercising and taking good care of myself and giving myself, you know, quality downtime, quiet time is very important to me in my life right now. So, but it's balancing all of that with 2 kids and 2 restaurants and another one coming on board and a husband who's like a 3rd kid and you know,
and a cookbook
and a couple of cookbooks and restaurants. But you know, in my restaurants, I have fantastic, you know, managers and people in my kitchen who are very committed and dedicated, and you know, they make the restaurants work every day. I'm really just now overseen, you know, from a distance, even though I eat in my restaurants, you know, probably every day or at least every other day, and I'm involved, but I you know, I don't have a position in each store.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask you that, how often you get to eat at your restaurants. Pretty regular then.
Oh, absolutely. If, you know, I'm
Great.
eating there, you know, when I'm working or, you know, I'm bringing my family in. And, you know, we're into this food, so of course we want to eat there. And I love to say it's my kids' favorite restaurant. And it's important for me to stay, you know, really in touch with the food because
Right.
I've got a great palate, and I'm sending both good comments and, hey, we need to work on this or what happened there.
Right.
Because it is a restaurant business, and you're constantly challenged with the consistency being the same every day because people want to come in and have that same dish.
Well, going into the airport, what struck me when you said that was I was just sharing just last week about how to eat healthy when you travel and healthy snacks in the airport. So that is really important for those of us who came out of the corporate world or those who are still in the corporate world doing a lot of travel. Mm-hmm. You can make a lot of bad choices out there.
Yeah, look, when you are committed to eating a clean, healthy diet, it is, harder because, what we have out there at our fingertips, airports, on the street, and everywhere we go are, fast foods, convenient foods, grab-and-go foods, and I think we all could agree that for the most part, those are not the healthiest of foods. Here and there, you got to grab, and that's all you've got, it's okay, but to be eating that all the time isn't okay in terms of your health and the health of the planet.
You grew up just like us. You were around the same kind of heavy, refined sugar, lots of flour.
Oh yeah, I grew up I like to say a standard American diet, Southern style. I grew up in Memphis, Tennessee. I come from a long line of great cooks. Good thing about that, they were cooking from scratch. But yes, lots of fats, a lot of flour, a lot of salt. I still have a hankering for fried food, and every now and then I let myself have some. And I always say to people, if I can do it, if I can change not just that diet, but the lifestyle and really embrace a very different way of looking at food and enjoying food, then anybody can do it.
Now, one thing I will say about the cookbook, and I do get a lot of cookbooks. This one, what struck me immediately about your cookbook, and I'm talking for those who may have just joined us, the Vegan Family Meals, Real Food for Everyone with Chef Ann Gentry. It is a well-balanced cookbook, just like the diet that you're trying to get us to embrace. Well, you're not really an advocate in this cookbook. You're not trying to convert people in it, but you do give a lot of insight into the different types of eaters. You discuss, what type of person is sitting at your table. Are they a locavore? Are they raw? What's going on with the diners that are at your table. You also talk about some of the small appliances that we should select, pots and pans, the different types of proteins. You cover a lot of ground, and you give resources in the back. So it's not just a book of recipes with pretty pictures. You talk about greening your kitchen. The whole thing. It's really well balanced, and I appreciate that.
Well, thank you so much. I thought that was important because I know as a restaurateur, people come into my restaurant who might be new to this, who are really exploring and looking like, hey, can this work for me, meaning eating a more plant-based diet? And there's a lot of confusion. People come in and they think Real Food Daily is a raw restaurant. It's just serving foods that have not been cooked because that's been very popular for the last 5-6 years and is becoming mainstream. We definitely cook our food at Real Food Daily, even though we do offer some beautiful dishes, as I've done in Vegan Family Meals that are living or totally raw. And really those are interchangeable, whether you call it living, I like that, versus, raw food. So there seems to be some confusion out there, and what does it mean, produce grown organically? What does that really mean? And what's the difference between vegan and vegetarians? And what is this whole locavore movement that's going on, local, sustainable? We hear those words all the time. So I just tried to, just shed a little light on that to help people go, oh, okay, I see. If somebody really told me the difference between all of those and how they're really interconnected as well.
Exactly, and you don't have to be a vegan to embrace this cookbook because there's things in there for those of us who love chocolate. There's a lot of everything in there, so it's
well, that's what I love to say, Barbara, is I feel that this cookbook is for everyone. That, hey, you want to cook your pork chops and you need some great vegetable dishes or a whole grain dish or a beautiful salad to go with that, by all means. This is a book because, look, most people, I get it now, most people are not going to be vegan or vegetarian in this lifetime. Perfectly fine with me. However, I think more and more people are leaning in, moving into really wanting more plant-based, whole grains, vegetable recipes that they can cook and or eat when they're out, and they'd like more of that. So this is the perfect book for no matter what kind of eater you are. You will find something in here that you'll really enjoy making and eating.